Hello, Virgo. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. We are officially 4 months old. That's crazy. That's insane. Please remember to subscribe, to comment, and to like this video, as well as follow me on Facebook and Instagram at claire.voyant.queen and Twitter at _Claire_voyant. I would greatly appreciate it. Please remember that I read energy in and around you. This could apply to you. Yes, this also could apply to your partner. Take what resonates and leave what does not. Please also check out your other placements, such as your sun, your moon, your rising, and your Venus for more messages and more content. Thank you so much. Hi Virgo, welcome to your November 2020 love and relationship tarot reading. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. Let's get started. Tell me about Virgo. Tell me about Virgo. Tell me about Virgo. Virgo for November of 2020. Tell me about Virgo. Tell me about Virgo. Virgo. November of 2020. Okay. Tell me about Virgo for November of 2020. Tell me about Virgo for November of 2020. Okay. Feels nice and shuffled. Please tell me about Virgo for November of 2020. Free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life. That has come up multiple times for everyone. Trust. The situation is calling for you to have faith. That has also come up multiple times. Last but not least, forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. This just came up for Taurus. Okay, so we're dealing with very universal energy in these readings lately. Okay. Okay, Virgo. So you are stuck. You are stuck in something, is what it feels like. You have free yourself, which makes me think that you're stuck, right? It's time to take back control of your life. And so I feel like this reading is going to be a lot about you getting unstuck. How do we get unstuck? Feels like you might be tied to someone or something. You might be tied to work. You might be tied to school. You might be tied to a project, you know. And I've a feeling that, you know, I don't know why. It feels like in order to get unstuck, you really have to have trust and you really have to have faith in the universe. Like, you have to believe that you will become unstuck, right? And then I think they're really asking you to really maybe perhaps reflect on why you're stuck, which might have something to do with forgiving and learning, right? Yeah, I keep getting stuck. Let's pull some animal spirit cards and we'll kind of see what they say and we'll go from there. Tell me about Virgo. Tell me about Virgo. For November of 2020. Tell me about Virgo. Tell me about Virgo. For November of 2020. Tell me about Virgo. For November of 2020. Tell me about Virgo for for November 2020. Okay. That felt nice and shuffled. Tell me about Virgo for November of 2020. Tell me about Virgo. Virgo for November of 2020. Okay. Please tell me about Virgo for November of 2020. Virgo, you are the Lion. Jesus, I just got a fuck ton of smoke in my mouth. LOL. Okay. Virgo, you are the Lion. You could have a Leo placement. Your partner could have a Leo placement. There could be something very Leo-y about this. Just sometimes, when the lion comes up and the fish comes up and the scorpion comes up, sometimes that's an indicator for me that not only is it about that energy, but it's also about like that physical symbol. Your partner, the snake. This just came up in Taurus in the same fucking position. You could be dealing with Taurus. Your partner could be a Taurus. In your emotional connection, we have the fire ant. This just came up in Taurus too. What the fuck? I shuffled these cards, guys. You saw me shuffle these cards. And then in your physical connection, we have the butterfly. How beautiful is that? Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead. We're going to read from the book. And I'd like you to have all the information that you can have. And we will go from there. The Lion. So, Virgo, you are the Lion. Patient, regal, a complete master. The Lion is a master of the fire element and the living mascot of self-transformation. A Lion personality dedicates their life to personal and spiritual growth. This dedication inspires some, intimidates others. Therefore, the Lion is respected by all but known intimately by few. Some mistake that Lion as hard to access or aloof, yet those with a keener eye know better. Lions are observant, stealth, and precise in their words and actions. They do not waste energy or resources. This card reminds us that self-mastery is available to all, no matter where our quest begins. Yeah, Virgo, I feel like you're stuck. You might be stuck on someone that's coming through strongly. And I feel like the Lion card here is, it talks about very first couple lines. The Lion is the master of the fire element, right? And the living mascot of self-transformation. It also goes on to say that this card reminds us that self-mastery is available to all. I have a feeling that this is kind of indicating that regardless of you being stuck, right? Regardless of you being stuck on someone, it does feel like you have the ability to transform and you have the ability to master your stuckness, right? To almost become unstuck and become your own individual, your own person, right? It feels like you have the ability to free yourself, essentially. It's almost like this is the energy that you can create. This is the energy that you can manifest when you unstick yourself, right? Okay, let's move on to this snake energy. One thing that was really interesting about the Lion too was that it talks about a Lion personality dedicates their life to personal and spiritual growth, right? A lot about growing. And the spiritual growth is interesting to me because we have the snake, which is a very spiritual card, right? Snake, guardian of unawakened magic and creative potential. The snake is a symbol of our highest potential. It is said that Shakti, our creative life force, lies dormant at the base of our spine in the form of a coiled snake. Regardless of whether this image rings true for you, it's well worth considering the amount of unawakened or untapped potential within. What would life look like if you woke it up? How can you stir it from its slumber? An experienced yoga or meditation teacher can lead the way. Make haste, the snake card appears when there's no more time to waste. With this, I'm really getting the impression that not only are you stuck, that you've been stuck for a very long time. It feels like you've been like, oof. I'm kind of almost getting the impression that like you've just been comfortable, like you've been comfortable in the position you're in, even though it's not even a great position to be in. Does that make sense? It almost feels like, I feel like this has happened. You've been this way for months, is what it feels like. It doesn't feel like days. It doesn't feel like weeks. It feels like months. It feels like you've just been stuck on someone or something for months. And I have a feeling like, the snake card is talking about unawakened magic, unawakened potential, untapped potential, right? The Lion card's talking about transformation, like dedication to like personal and spiritual growth. Like both of these cards like have a very spiritual element to them, and both of them talk about like potential and mastery, right? They talk about growth and going somewhere, right? It feels like I feel like, that's why the free yourself card is here, because there's so much like out there for you. There's so much you can do. There's so much you can achieve. And I feel like you're not seeing that, or you're just comfortable with where you're at and you don't care to. It's interesting. This is a very interesting reading. I don't want to like use the word lazy, but it feels lazy. Fire ant. This is in your emotional connection, right? Your emotional connection. Aggression, rigid thinking, following orders. Fire ant energy flares up without us noticing. It's the force that attracts us to the people and situations that feed our imbalances, rather than those that counter them. Gossiping and blaming are a few indicators that misaligned fire ant energy is at play. You may also find yourself stewing on a person or situation, only making things worse. How can you break free from the dharma and cool down? Fire ants are surprisingly sensitive. Don't pretend the heat isn't getting to you. Yeah, you are like stewing. You are stewing, honey. Ugh, ugh, ugh. I'm getting the fact that you're chained to someone or something. It does feel like you have a little bit of aggression towards this person or towards this thing. I'll be honest, it's a person. I'm getting that it's a person. It's a person. I don't know who the fuck I'm trying to kid. It's a person. And it feels like you're stewing on it. And it feels like you're just not letting it go. You're not letting it go. And it's like the fact that you're not letting it go is creating like this stuck comfortability that you're in. But I feel like these cards are like, hey, like free yourself. Like look at everything you could accomplish. Like look at all the good you can do. But like you're just so stuck and you're stewing on someone that like you're attached to, is what it feels like. Let's read the butterfly. We'll wrap this up and we'll look at some tarot, and we'll try to clarify what's on the board. Okay. The butterfly is a very beautiful energy, right? Undergoing great change and transformation, just like the lion, right? Talking about the lion being, I literally want to find it again because it was so good. The lion is a master of the fire element and a living mascot of self-transformation. Oh my god, transformation seems to be playing a theme here. The energy of the butterfly is with us during periods of transition. Since air is the element of the heart, this change usually involves relationships, or if you love your job, perhaps your career. Since transition is accompanied by some amount of discomfort, be extra patient and kind during this time, especially if the butterfly is you. Let solid friends and activities support you like a cocoon, committing to one daily routine. A meal, a practice, a prayer, done at the same time in same place and time will do wonders for lifting a butterfly spirit. Yeah, you're going through some sort of massive transformation here. Transformation has appeared twice. There's some sort of like spiritual component going on, like spiritual growth. There's something about like untapped potential, like complete mastery, like there's something about that going on. And it feels like all of this can occur, all of this can happen, like this change can occur once we stop stewing from this person in the past that's literally getting to you. And they're asking you to free yourself from that energy so you can move forward, right? Forgiving and learning as you release and heal the past to experience more love in your present moment. And then you need to have faith in this situation. You need to have faith that the universe is trying to guide you to a better place, right? Remember, one thing that I've been trying to work on lately is, I don't know why I want to bring this up now, but I'm going to. Maybe it appeals, lol. Maybe it applies to you. But I've just kind of started accepting the fact that, sometimes I get really angry. Sometimes I get really angry at people. Sometimes I get really angry at situations. And I'm allowed to feel angry. I'm allowed to feel angry. I'm allowed to feel that emotion. But at the end of the day, what is my anger accomplishing? What is my anger accomplishing? All it is it's giving me a very pessimistic outlook on life. And it's not actually doing anything for me. So I've just been kind of thinking about, I'm allowed to feel anger, but I'm also allowed to release that anger. I'm allowed to let that go. And so maybe that's something that you can kind of focus on, as when you get angry, whether it's with this person or whether it's with another person or a situation, you can say, I'm allowed to feel angry, but I'm also allowed to release that anger too. And focus on that, because it's actually been really helpful for me lately. Let's pull some tarot. Yeah, you are angry. You're angry. Stewing. I don't like that. Oh. Tell me about Virgo. Virgo. Tell me about Virgo for November of 2020. Tell me about Virgo for November of 2020. Tell me about Virgo for November of 2020. Ooh. That was one of the worst shuffles I've ever done in my life. Tell me about Virgo for November of 2020. Let's get it 2 more. Tell me about Virgo for November of 2020. Virgo. Tell me about Virgo for November of 2020. Ooh. Oh, mama. 2 of Cups wanted to jump out. Okay. We have a relationship card. Tell me about Virgo for November of 2020. Tell me about Virgo for November of 20... Ooh. Knight of Swords also wanted to jump out. Virgo for November of 2020. Okay. Please tell me about Virgo for November of 2020. Virgo, in your current situation, we have the Queen of Cups in reverse. In your partner's current situation, we have the Lovers. Well, that's why you're fucking tied down to something. Y'all, this is karmic. In your past connection, we have the Page of Swords. In your present connection, we have the Nine of Swords in reverse, which has popped out a plethora of times. And in your future connection, we have the Ace of Swords in reverse. Okay. Lots of sword energy. Do you see that? Lots of sword energy. Okay. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sword cards on the board. The Lovers is also very reminiscent of Gemini, which is also an air sign, which is also sword energy, right? Lots of swords. Whatever this connection is, whatever this dynamic is, there's a lot going on with communication. Whether there's a lack of communication, whether there's communication that seems to be riddled with lying or just very aggressive words. There's a lot of communication in this connection, and yet no communication in this connection. It's one or the other. So remember when I kept saying that like it felt like you were chained to something or stuck to something or stuck to someone? Well, that's why we have the Lovers on the board. We also have the Two of Cups on the board. So these are both soulmate cards. So this is someone that you could be energetically connected to, right? There's not many soulmate cards in the deck, right? The Lovers, the Devil, the Two of Cups, maybe the Six of Cups, sometimes referred to as like a karmic card. Sometimes like Justice, they'll refer to Justice as like a karmic card. There's not many, but you have 2 of them, right? So this feels like a very karmic situation. It feels like whoever this person is, you are very energetically connected to them. And it feels like something went wrong. It feels like something went wrong. And it feels like you're stewing on it. And it feels like it's made you very angry, very upset, very aggressive, right? We have the Queen of Cups here in reverse. So this is going to be our water signs. So you have Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. So you could have a Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces placement. Your partner could have a Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces placement. But the Queen of Cups in reverse, really talks about, one thing that's really interesting to me is that I always find it interesting that her robe is actually, it's almost like created to look like water, right? Which is really beautiful. And when the card is in reverse, like the water really becomes highlighted for me. And the water almost feels like it's like flooding out of her, like flooding like from her robe into the pond, right? Like even her cup is like going to like, not necessarily, I just wanted to say overflow, which is interesting, but her cup is essentially going to like drain with water. So this is almost like the emotions of this queen are all over the place, right? It's someone who's very, very emotional and kind of like, I can't even seem to organize my emotions. I can't even seem to organize my thoughts and feelings, right? It's very just all over the place, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty. It's not accomplishing anything. It's not producing anything. So it feels like you're very upset. That's very clear. Whatever this connection is, whatever this dynamic is that you're kind of chained to, you're very upset. And then over here, we have, especially on the snake too, talking about how spiritual that is. We have the Lovers, right? Which really talks about like, it's a soulmate card, right? It's the soulmate card. It talks about, us being chained to something larger, like to a larger picture, to a larger goal, right? It talks about us, balancing our emotions with logistical thought and reason, right? talking about higher thought, talking about higher reason, talking about being guided together, right? So whatever this dynamic is, it's pretty fucking powerful, is what it feels like. And it feels like you were meant to experience it, because there's something you're supposed to forgive, and there's something you're supposed to learn and take away from that situation, right? And it's powerful to the point where it's physically changing you. It's physically changing you in this dynamic. In the past connection, we have the Page of Swords in reverse. You know, pages are very, like, we also have to pay attention. We have the Knight of Swords. We not only do we have the page, we have the Knight. And this Page of Swords essentially is communication. And this to me is kind of suggesting a lack of communication, or the communication that's there is very cold, is very detached, is very cutting. There might be spying going on. There might be like secret spying in terms of like paying attention on social media, in terms of like, there could be physical spying. I don't know. That actually didn't ring true to me, but there could be like some sort of like physical spying. But it's a lot of like watching and stalking each other, which does not feel great. But that kind of happened in the past. And then in the present moment, we have the Nine of Swords in reverse, right? This is the card of dreams. This is the card of nightmares. This is the card of waking up in the middle of the night and experiencing a lot of mental burdens, you know, mental taxation, like, you know, being plagued by anxiety and depression, right? And with it being in reverse, it's almost like, why do I feel like this energy is cyclical? It feels like this has been going on for a while, right? It feels like this is not something new. This is not something new. It feels like it's been going on for a hot minute. And it feels like there was kind of almost like, feels like there were some aggressive words that were said, right? And it feels like it might have been silent, or there's been little communication. And I feel like all of a sudden it's like kind of coming back up again. It feels like there's almost like a return to this. Like, it may have always been lurking in the background, but for some reason I feel it like almost like wanting to come up again. Like, whew. Yeah, it feels very heavy. It feels very heavy. I don't like it. But this essentially, you know, is like, in the present moment, it's kind of like you getting over this energy, you recovering from this energy, you healing from this energy, right? But at the same time, it doesn't feel over. It doesn't feel over. In your future outcome, we have the Ace of Swords, right? The Ace of Swords comes right after the Ten of Swords, right? Which is, that's funny, right? We're missing the Ten of Swords here. We got the Nine of Swords, the Ten of Swords in the middle, and then we have the Ace of Swords. So we're missing the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is overkill, right? He doesn't need 10 swords to die. He needs one sword to die. There's all this blood on the ground, right? So essentially, it feels like this is violent. This is violent. But it's very violent when it comes to like words, when it comes to like thoughts and actions. And with the Ace of Swords in reverse, this feels like a brand new start. It feels like you're somehow closing out a cycle here. You're kind of finishing something up, and it feels like there's a brand new start. But this brand new start doesn't involve a lot of communication, and the communication that's there is very lying. It's very deceitful. You know, it doesn't feel like a great start, but it is a new start. I will say that. But over here is what's interesting to me. This is really interesting because this wanted to pop out earlier. Sorry guys, my camera battery died, but this is what was interesting to me. We have the Two of Cups and we have the Knight of Swords, right? The Two of Cups, yes, is a soulmate card, which I'm not really surprised to see since we have the Lovers on the board. However, this feels like a different connection. This does not feel like the same connection that exists here. It feels like a different connection. Or it could be the same. This might be a different connection for some of you. This might be the same connection for some of you as well. But with the Knight of Swords, right, knights never stay. They always come, they always go. We have the Knight of Swords, so he's the fastest knight in the deck. For me, this kind of almost gives this impression of like the knight in shining armor, right? Literally, this armor is like glistening, it's glowing. And he's flying in. He's flying in, ready for battle, ready for communication, right? Ready to sweep you off your feet is like kind of what this energy feels like. And it feels like two people like exchanging an emotional cup, right? So it feels like this is like, that's why I keep getting that this is like new energy. It feels like this might be someone coming in, like a beautiful, beautiful kind of person kind of coming in. It's funny because this is the same energy that I was picking up in Scorpio. So you could have a Scorpio placement, especially with the Queen of Cups being here. You could have a Scorpio placement. Your partner could have a Scorpio placement. But that was kind of like very similar to what I was picking up in that reading as well. Wow, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here, Virgo. I want to re-clarify everything to essentially, tie all the loose ends together. So to reiterate, it feels like you're bound and tied to someone. It could be something, but someone is coming up extra, extra strong, right? We have the Lovers here. It's not out on the board, but I'm sure if we were to continue pulling cards, we would also see the Devil, because you really can't read the Lovers without reading the Devil, because you have number 6, and then you have the Devil as 15. 1 plus 5 equals 6. So you have 2 6s, right? And you have, the Soulmate card. So I feel like you are very energetically connected to someone, very karmically connected to someone. You are bound and tied is how it feels. It feels that something happened between the two of you. Something happened that was not so nice, not so pretty. It feels like it might have been a very cold-hearted, cutting communication, right? I bet you some words were said, some not so nice words. And I feel like that's made you incredibly emotional, right? I feel like your emotions are all over the place here. And it's also left you a little bit heated, right? It's left you a little bit heated as well. And I feel like you're really stewing on it, because I feel like this is, again, not something new. This feels old. This feels like it's happened for a couple months, perhaps a couple years even. And the universe is asking you to free yourself, right? Which seems real fucking challenging considering how tied you are to this person. It feels like it's a test. And with the lion being here, with the snake being here, with the butterfly being here, it feels like you're undergoing a massive, massive transformation. And that massive transformation cannot take place until this forgiving and learning has been handled, right? As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments, right? And that's honestly why I think this Two of Cups and Knight of Swords is here, because I have a feeling that the universe is almost like, okay, I'm being shown the image of a horse, and someone has a stick with a string on it, and connected to the string is a carrot, and they're like, here you go, like, here you go. And they keep like doing the whole like walking thing, like they're walking backwards, trying to get the horse to move. I feel like the universe is like almost like this relationship is your carrot, right? Is how it feels. They're like, come on, like once you free yourself from this connection, like look at all the good things that are going to come in for you. Look at all the good things that are going to happen to you. It's kind of like them kind of baiting you is how it feels. So it feels like there's so much potential, and there's so much unawakened strength here. And I feel like once you really understand that, once you really break yourself free from this, once you forgive the situation, once you learn from the situation, once you transform, something really good is going to happen here. Something real good. But that can only happen until you break yourself from whatever you're going through. Guys, this is a karmic tie. This is a karmic tie. But Virgo, thank you so much for checking out your November 2020 love and relationship. Oh my God. Yes, Virgo. That's so funny. I wanted to say Taurus. But Virgo, thank you so much for checking out your November 2020 love and relationship tarot reading. And I will see you in December. Bye, guys.